26th of August, Rabbi Furst, Parsha Hashavua, Re'eh. Yeah, it's on now.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst, Yeshiva Tzarmanavshi here. Erev Shabbos Parshas Re'eh, Shana Shin Pei, Tav Shin Pei Beis, Shana Shmita, Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. We'll be learning now Chumash with Rashi a bit, other things maybe too. So if you look in your Chumash, you have there by Shishi, right? Perek Tes Vav. Beginning there, we'll read a few psukim and take a look at the Rashis here and there. Any volunteers to read?
I'm a little bit behind the curve. Why don't you go ahead, Meir?
Well, I found Shavi. I'm trying to find Shishi. Hold on one second, okay. And then we'll start.
Perek Tes Vav, Perek 15.
Oh, the Tet Vav? Am I in the right Parsha?
We're in Re'eh, correct?
Yeah, Tet Vav. Oh, which pasuk now?
We'll start with Aleph.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it says Miketz Sheva Shanim Ta'aseh Shmita. So let's see, Miketz at the end of 7 years, you will do Shemitah. Okay, well, let's see what Rashi says. Miketz Sheva Shanim, at the end of 7 years. Yachol Sheva Shanim L'chol Milveh Umilveh. Okay, so one is able, let's see.
You might think, Yochel means you might think.
Yachol, you might think that the 7 years, each and every, for each and every loan. Oh, so you're released from your loans, right?
Right, because this is talking about the Shemitah. Besides the agricultural laws of Shemitah, there are also laws relevant to avadim, to slaves, and also laws which are relevant to loans. Okay, so you might think, Rashi, maybe at the end of 7 years of the loan, meaning, let's say you gave a loan out 7 years ago, so you might think this law is dependent on the time span of each and individual loan. That's what you might think.
Lean please, Meir.
Pardon?
You have to lean forward. We couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm starting up again. It says Talmud Lomar, Parva Shinat Sheva. Okay.
The Torah comes along and tells you, right? Karva Shanas Sheva. What's the word there in the pasuk, right? Karva. That there's a drawing close to the 7.
Okay. The Imata Omer, Sheva Shanim, L'chol Milveh Umilveh, L'chal Va'at, Kol Echad Ve'echad. Echi Karva. Well, that's a good question.
Specifically the 7th year of Shemitah, not the 7th year of the loan.
That's what this is saying. Okay. Ha lamadita. So we learned Sheva leminyan hashmitot.
Oh. That tells you, right, that it's the seventh year of the counting of the Shemitot, not the seventh year of your particular individual loan, but it's the general counting of 7 of the years of the 7-year Shemitah cycle. So even though your loan may be only a year old, Shemitah will have an effect on it. Not like we would have the Havamina, that it would only be a 7-year Shemitah effect of the loan when it comes to the 7th year of that particular individual loan.
Okay. I see. Okay, so let's go, I guess, to bet.
I just want to point out, let's see, it says, yeah, if you want to see, the Rashi is referring to the other pasuk. Look, jump to pasuk tet. The 9th pasuk there. Let me read that pasuk there.
It says, Hishamer lecha pen yehiyeh davar im levavcha v'liya'al lemor karva. Oh, there it is. Karva shenat hasheva shenat hashmita v'ra'a eincha yachicha ha'evyon v'lo titen lo v'kara alecha el Hashem v'haya v'cha chet.
Right, so that's karva shenas hashmita. That's the proof that Rashi brings. So we're not talking about the individual loan. We're talking about the loan, any loan which Shemitah after the 7-year cycle comes to its conclusion. Okay, very good. Let's see further.
Okay, it says V'zeh Devar Hashmita Shamot Kol Baal Maseh Yado Asher Yaseh B'Re'ehu Lo Yigosh Et Re'ehu Yet Achiv Ki Kara Shmita La Hashem.
So what does that mean? What's the pasuk saying? Huh?
Oh, that's a good question. So Rashi, let's see, Rashi says, Shmatot Kol Baal Maseh Yado. So those who are creditors release from his hand, I guess, release the loan, I guess. Okay, anyway, it says, Shmatot et Yado Shel Kol Baal Maseh V'chein Hu Omer Lemata Tashmet Yadecha.
I'm not sure what this means. Do you have Lou, do you have an English there? What's that? Will you Mary have an English what it says?
Well, it's okay. So it's the phrase is every creditor shall release his authority. Rashi says, release the authority of every creditor. And similarly, it says below, oh, this is what you were saying, Tashmet Yadecha, you shall release your authority.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, that's verse 3 it's talking about.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Kol Baal Maisa. Kol Baal Masa. What's the Baal Masa? Interesting.
Yeah, it's in our pasuk.
Yeah. Someone call ba ma'isa yade. Call ba ma'isa. Call ba ma'isa. Call the pasuk says call ba ma'isa. What does that mean? Call ba ma'isa. Call ba ma'isa. Call gaber. Call.
That what he lent to his fellow?
Not sure.
Koba to everyone must say yado that he has his authority over, I guess.
Yes. Here's. Let's see. Not sure. Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it.
Okay, so go to Gimel.
Work with that phrases. Yeah, please.
Okay, it says et hanachri tigos va'asher yelecha et achicha tashme yadecha. So it said, let's see, you'll oppress the non-Jew, but over what you have with your brother. Oh, so that means you could still get the loan from the non-Jew?
This is a reference to taking ribbis, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But over what you have with your brother, you shall release your authority.
Right. And your loans to your brethren are released, but the loans that are given out to non-Jews are not released. And this actually, maybe this is not really talking about ribbis. I'm sorry. This is talking about the releasing of the loans.
Okay, Rashi makes just a comment that at Nochri Tigos, you will oppress the non-Jew. Zo mitzvah say, it's a positive commandment.
Right.
I have another. Oh, go ahead, Lou.
I have a footnote that says the verse does not mean that we are obligated to press non-Jews to repay their debts. It means to add the force of a positive commandment to the explicit negative commandment that forbids pressing a Jew to repay, according to Ramban.
Okay. Let's see the next pasuk.
Okay, Dalit. It says, Ephes, ki lo yihye bicha evyon, ki varech yivarechecha Hashem ba'aretz asher Hashem Elokecha notein lecha nachala l'rishta. So it's saying, however, there should be no poor people within your midst.
Right.
My computer went bananas. Okay. In your midst. Okay. Because Hashem blessed. Sorry. The computer keeps beeping. Because Hashem blessed you in the land, okay, that Hashem your God will give you. Oh, he will bless, because they're not there yet. He will bless, okay. Which Hashem your God will give you as an inheritance to take possession of. Okay, Rashi has a little to say here.
Yeah, we're gonna concentrate on this Rashi a bit. Good, very good.
Okay, so it says, Efes ki lo yihiyeh b'cha evyon. So there shall be no poor among you. Ulahan hu omer ki lo yechdal evyon. But it says further on that the poor people will not end. I guess there'll always be poor people.
If you want to take a look at Pasuk Yud Aleph, jump ahead a few psukim to Pasuk Yud Aleph.
Says, Lo yechdal evyon mikerav haaretz. So the poor people will not come to an end within the land. Al Cain, let's see. Anochi mitzavcha lemor, b'toach tiftach et yadcha liachicha le'aniyecha le'evyoncha be'artzecha. Okay, so this is in your midst. Okay, therefore I am commanding you, saying, open your hands to your brothers, to your poor, and to Evyoncha. Is that also your poor in your land?
Evyoncha, I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so here's the command to help out the poor people.
Right. So Rashi's pointing out the difference between this pasuk and pasuk Daled, which we just looked at again. Let's take a look. Let's compare the two psukim. Okay,
the other one was okay.
Yeah, pasuk Daled. What does pasuk Daled say?
There shall be no poor people among you, for Hashem will bless you in your land.
So what is that? So what does that mean?
Actually, that's a good question. I don't know whether that means that the people should make sure there are no poor people in the land, or that Hashem is going to make sure there's no poor people in the land.
Oh, very, very good. And what's the difference between the two ways of understanding it, perhaps?
One way with the help of the people we read in verse 11. Here, what I keep thinking, and I always think about this at the end of the Shmona Esrei, sort of Hashem will help, in this case, bless those who put the effort in to get the blessing.
Right. Oh, very good.
So it seems to me if they can find a way to either get work somehow to benefit themselves. So when the Jewish people take the possession of the land, they shouldn't have to see poverty in it.
Right. So yeah, that's that seems to be the indicating point of this pasuk Dalet, that there won't be any poor people for whatever reasons. They'll have work. But there won't be kilo yevacha evion, because Hashem's going to give you this blessing, but aren't so you can have a blessing in the land. So there won't be any poor people, right? So, and yet, nevertheless, in pasuk Yud Aleph seems to indicate the opposite, right? That's what Rashi's trying to point out and trying to reconcile these two seemingly different psukim.
Is it
So how does Rashi approach the answer to this? Let's see the Rashi again.
Okay, so let's see. It's ki lo yihiyeh b'chayav yom. So there'll be no poor people within your midst. Okay. Ulahan hu omer, but okay, we said this before. Okay. It said further, and that you told me, pasuk 11, ki lo yechdal evyom, that the poor people will not end. Ela bizman she'atem osim. Oh, but hold it. At a time when you do, oh, ritzono shel makom, the will of Hashem. Evyonim ba'acherim v'lo v'achem ukishe'ein atem osim ritzono shel makom evyonim ba'achem. So that's a lot there. So there will be no poor people within you, the lovachem, and not within you. Ukishe'ein atem osin. And when you don't do, the will of Hashem, there are poor people among you. Oh, that's interesting. Isn't that similar a bit to the second paragraph of the Shema?
Explain a little bit better. It could be. Let me explain some more.
Well, the second paragraph of the Shema basically says, to summarize it, because I don't have it in front of me, if you perform the mitzvot, which is the will of Hashem, according to this, you'll have plenty. You'll get the rain in the proper seasons, and your produce will grow properly. But the on the other side, in the second paragraph, is if it says you don't perform the mitzvot, it's not going to be so good for you. Your land is not going to produce for you, and you're not going to have what you need to have. To serve God.
Right, exactly. This is a constant theme. And it's more than just a theme. It's actual mitzvah. It's our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu is based upon our fulfillment of His mitzvahs. Right. That's the test and the strength of our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, based on our fulfillment of his mitzvahs. Because we understand that the Kadosh Baruch Hu is number one, the Borei Olam. He is the one that created the world, and he's also the one who sustains the world. It's not simply a one-time thing, a big bang. The Kadosh Baruch Hu made a big bang, and then decided to let the universe go off, flying into its own chaotic existence. No, Kadosh Baruch Hu whether he made a big bang or not, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know, but that's another sort of question that it's not really related to us at all. That's Hashem's business, how He created the world. But we know that Kadosh Baruch Hu, besides creating the world, he also sustains and he directs and maintains the world each and every minute. And therefore, when a Kadosh Baruch Hu desires something of us, right? It's only logical. It's derech eretz that we should comply to what a Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. That if we're a guest in somebody's house, right? And the guest, the house owner, the host asks us to do something, right? It's only common sense and logical and derech eretz that we should fulfill his wishes, no?
I agree with that, especially when he says on Shabbos, please come to the dinner table.
As a matter of fact, there's a chazal, it's addressed, the chazal is addressing itself to a guest. That when you're a guest in someone's household, it says you have to do everything that the host tells you to do, except if he tells you to leave. If he tells you to leave, you don't have to listen to him. Maybe that's a whole understanding of what that means. I don't know if I have time to go into that. I wasn't planning to discuss that today. But because I'll say when you're a guest, you have to listen to everything that the host tells you to do, except if he tells you to leave. You don't have to leave if he tells you to leave. So that's simply if you're staying by somebody's house, and the person himself, he didn't really. It's only a temporary thing that he owns the house. It's not something which is truly his. It's only here for a certain amount of time that he's alive in this world. And it's his house, it's his food, all these things, and actually all those things were provided to him by Kadosh Baruch Hu. And he asks you to do something, so it's only reasonable that you should comply with his wishes. So much more so if the Borei Olam, the creator of everything, asks you to do, and again, we'll just say 613 mitzvahs. You have 613 mitzvahs to do. Okay, there's some other derabbanans here and there as well, 7 derabbanans. So they're basically 610 things that you're supposed to do or not do according to the will and desire of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So it's only common sense that you should comply, right? Only common sense you should comply. But that's the danger and the unfortunate corruption which now has infected the gullus that we live in. That people are taught that Kadosh Baruch Hu is not the king. He's not the sovereign of the world. He's not even Hashavua, the creator of the world. He doesn't maintain the world. Hashavua. They believe all kinds of things that deny Hashavua the existence of a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So that makes them very free and able to do anything they want, and they are unshackled by the mitzvahs, therefore, and they have a choice. So they think of doing what they want, because there's no person who they owe any of course total gratitude to. It's like you go into this big wonderful mansion, and I was in a situation like that. I was in it was a big mansion, and it was like a guest house. They turned this mansion into a guest house, and the person who owned it wasn't even there. You came in, you did what you want, and you left, and whatever. You want to leave a donation, you could leave a donation. You don't leave a donation, you don't have to leave a donation. Had a little book, you want to say thank you to them, whatever it was. So you could do anything you want because there was no person there in charge. Apparently, of course, there was someone in charge, but they weren't interested in being there on a daily basis. I don't know, they probably off to the Hawaii or someplace like that for Pesach, anyway, like that anyway. So they weren't interested in being around. But Kadosh Baruch Hu, Lahavdil, Elif Abdullah, he's very interested in being around. He's, so to speak, very interested in this universe. And not only that, he's more interested in this little earth of ours more than anything else. And on that little earth of ours, he's more interested in the Jewish people than anything else in the whole wide universe. And he's very concerned and interested in the fact that he has given us the mitzvahs to abide by, and he's very interested that we do that, and he's concerned that we do that, and he's watchful over that, and he knows what we're doing and what we're not doing, and that's all based on the fact that we acknowledge that Kadosh Baruch Hu as being the king, and not only the king, but he's the king that also maintains everything. He's a king that created the world, the universe, and he's a king over the universe constantly, and actually maintains the universe as we know it according to his will. And part of his will is that we have the mitzvahs to obey, and that's what his desire is. So this is the strength of our relationship and the basis of our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, keeping to his commands, keeping to his mitzvahs. So that's exactly the point here. The point is when we're going to be fulfilling the mitzvahs, right? So then we don't have to worry. Hashem's going to take care of everything. And in terms of poor people, there won't be any poor people in need of anything, because since we're fulfilling the mitzvahs of Hashem, that gives the influx of blessing to, in this particular case, we're talking about Eretz Yisrael and to the Jewish people. And with that influx of blessing to the Jewish people and to Eretz Yisrael, everybody has what they need. But if we're going to go astray and not be true to our commitment to fulfill the will of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, so that interrupts this influx of bracha, of blessing to the world, and specifically to Eretz Yisrael, and even specifically to the Jewish people in Eretz Yisrael, and that causes poverty. That's a cause for poverty. So it's all the basis of our relationship with the Kadosh Baruch. So this is an example of that as well. And as you said, the Shema that we say is also an example of this in the same way. Bringing the rains or not bringing the rains, having the produce in the field or not having the produce in the field. Okay. Let's continue.
He defines Evion, which is interesting.
I just you're a little bit low on the volume there. I didn't.
Oh, okay. I'll try to speak closer to the.
Yeah.
You might not see my whole head, but I'll speak closer to the microphone. Okay, so Rashi does define Evion, which in English is destitute, but he says Dal Meoni, poorer than an Oni, than a poor man.
Right.
And it says, Lashon Evion, Shehu Ta'ev L'chol Davar. The expression connotes that he longs for everything because he has nothing.
Oh.
That's poorer than a poor person.
Right. Right. Called Dava. Right. Shuta Ave, called Dava. But a person, when they say in Hebrew, they say good appetite. What do they say?
So that's the same word.
Is it? Is it the same? It's spelled the same way?
Well, the root might be. Let me. I don't know if I have. Let me just see if I have it in my dictionary. The root might be. Let's see. Betet. Let's see. Betaf. No, it doesn't have it. So maybe it's not. Let me just look up appetite real quick.
Mm-hmm.
APP, appetite. Maybe I don't know how to spell appetite. Oh, yeah.
I think it's APP, you know?
Yeah, APP.
That's
I thought it was APPI. Oh, here, appetite. Guess what?
Yeah.
It's Te'avon. Taf Aleph Bet Vav Nun Sofit. So an appetite, according to I mean, it's the root says it's to desire, but it's, I guess, when people desire to feed themselves, to eat.
yeah. Where did they get this avon? Te'avon. What's to get the avon? Avon.
I have a footnote that says Evyon is related to the root ta'av, taf, aleph, bet, which means to desire.
Right. Right. Lashon Evyon shu ta'ev l'kol davar. Right. Ta'ev l'kol davar. So that's where we get this.
In modern Hebrew, it means craving.
Craving, right. Craving. A person, a poor person, Evyon is worse than a ani, and ani, so he's lacking. But an Evyon, like he's craving for everything. He lacks all things. That's what Rashi's telling us here. All right.
Okay.
It would seem that it would not be appropriate for the word Evyon to be in the pasuk, because we're not talking about tzedakah, we're talking about loans. I would think that once the person gets to the point where he has absolutely nothing, that we should be giving him the money, not loaning it to him.
Well, it's more honorable if we loan the money to him. Right? The mitzvah tzedakah is something else. Right? That's another mitzvah tzedakah. But the Chafetz Chaim actually says, right, that he writes in his Sefer Ahavas Chesed, a sefer which is a sefer on the laws of charity, right, and giving. He says it's a higher level of giving. If first of all, he says it's better to give a person a loan before he falls into a state of destitution, right? Because with a loan, a person, if he knows how to use his money correctly, he can do something to help himself, and therefore he could get himself out of a financial situation. A less higher way of doing things is you could give him a loan, and in the end, you could be moichel the loan. You could, in the end, if you want to give him tzedakah, rather than giving him outright tzedakah, you could make a loan with him. And but at the end, you could say, okay, I'll be your moichel alone. I'll forgive you the loan. It's another way of doing things in a proper manner. And it's a mitzvah to set a person up. If you can set a person up in business, right? You can help him do something to get him started and make himself a little parnasa, right? So that's much better than just giving him the shekel that he needs just to get by for that day. Because the next day he'll come back to you and ask you for another shekel. Right?
Right.
So you can lend him money. You lend him money, and he can establish himself in some way. Of course, if you're going to do such a thing like that, you should work it out with him. Giving him a business loan. You want to see a little bit of a business plan. Look into his qualifications. Maybe even if he needs a little extra training, help him out with the training. Yeah, and then have himself a little trade, a little profession there, a craft that he can peddle, and someone give him parnasa.
Hello. Yeah, can I call you back in 15 minutes? Bubby? Okay.
Okay.
Are we going to Pasuk Hey?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Rakim Shema. This is the same theme. Rakim Shemoa Tishma B'Chol Hashem Elokecha Lishmor La'asot Et Kol HaMitzvah Hazot Asher Anochi Mitzavcha Hayom. Okay, so only if you listen to the voice of Hashem, your God. Okay, this is Moshe talking. Okay, so it says to observe and to do this entire commandment that I command you this day. Oh, that's interesting.
Right, now take a look at the Rashi here.
Rashi says, Rakim Shemoa Tishma. Only if listening, you will listen. Oh. I don't think I translated it like that. Oz, then, lo yihiyeh b'cha evyon. Oh, so then there will be no destitute people among you.
Exactly, right? So they're, that someone should go to the Knesset with this Rashi, no? Make some changes in public policy, no? All right, well, nice to see it happen. Let's see the next pasuk. Just be careful with your volume there. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Pasuk Vav. Ki Hashem Elokecha beirachecha ka'asher diber lach. V'ha'avata goyim rabim v'ata lo ta'avot u'mashalta b'goyim rabim u'v'cha lo yimshalu. What does that mean? Wow. For Hashem, your God, okay. So Hashem has blessed you as he has spoken to you. Does that mean during the 40 years in the desert that he blessed you? Seems like it's past tense.
That's a good question.
Is there a Rashi on that?
Kasher diber Kasher diber
Well, there is a Rashi on that. He says, "V'hechan diber." Where did Hashem speak? It says, "Baruch atah ba'ir." Blessed will you be in the city. So what does that mean?
The footnote says it's quoting 28, chapter 28:3 below.
Uh-huh.
It's
So
when
maybe that's the blessings and the curses. That
I think so. So Moshe Rabbeinu is talking about this, and that something's going to be, at the time of saying this, it's something which is going to be said in the future. Have to bear in mind what Hashem is saying to you. What I mean, Hashem is eventually going to say to you.
okay. The next Rashi is v'ha'avatta, which means you will lend. Okay, kol lashon hava'ah. So that's the language of a loan. Kinofel al hamava.
Hmm.
But when it falls on the lender,
That's going to be a reference to,
oh, this is dikduk.
yeah, Kol Lashon Alva, Yishenoifel al Hamal, Venofel. It's going to be that emphasis is placed on the one who's making the loan. Yeah.
A bit confused with what he's saying. So this law applies to the lender, and if it wasn't a he feel, it said it would apply to the borrower.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I'm a bit confused there. Okay, so the next Rashi, the ha'avadata goyim. Oh, so you'll lend to the nations. Yachol, one might say, or think, get to hey love mizeh v'malva lazeh. That you'll you'll borrow from one person and lend it to another. Oh,
Right.
Talmud
Yeah.
Lomar, but the Torah says v'ata lo ta'avod. You will not borrow. Oh. So it's basically, it sounds like to me, it's saying you can't make ribis. You can't make money on money by taking from one and giving to another.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It's explained, Rav Shimon Skop explains that the ribis is unique in a certain way. If you look in the laws of ribis in Shulchan Aruch, they're listed in the laws of Yeridea. Yeridea in general is discussing things which are permissible and not permissible. Different foods which are permissible for you to eat, foods which are not permissible for you to eat. Whereas kosher mishpat, for example, deals with the interactions between people that, for example, damages, finding lost objects, returning lost objects, things which have to do with theft and robbery, right? Things that have to do with inheritances, these type of things. Mostly many monetary relationships between people. Your idea is not that subject matter. It's dealing with those things which are permissible and forbidden to you to eat and to do. Right? So he asked the question: why is ribis found in the laws of Yeridea and not in the laws of Hoshi Mishpat? Right?
Mm-hmm.
The answer he gives is that the lending and the paying with ribis is not something which is considered to be theft. Right? There's no theft involved when a person lends with ribis. He's going to lend $100 at 10% interest. The party who is borrowing the money is in many times more than happy to pay the interest charges because he's in need of a loan, right? He's in need of a loan, and therefore he's more than happy to pay the interest charges, at least ostensibly. Of course, he doesn't really want to pay them. He prefers to get it as a free loan, but he's not going to get the loan if he doesn't pay the ribis. But that's forbidden for Jews to do. So Rasim Shkop explains that ribis is not a question of theft or robbery. It's because both parties are well aware and are willing and agreeable to go ahead with the business transaction that's going to be involving a loan with extra payments, surcharges, usury. So therefore, since there's no theft involved, and it's something which is as Rav Shimon Skop says, it's treif money. The money's treif, just like you can have a chicken that's treif. You can have an animal that's treif. It's not kosher, right? A vulture. A vulture is not a kosher species, right? A whale is not a kosher species, right? An elephant is not a kosher species. They're treif animals. So likewise, this money, right? This money, if a person lends with ribbis, the money is treif. It's not permissible money, right? So even though there's no theft involved, right? Both parties, both willing and agreeable to the transaction with the interest involved, but the Torah is not interested in that. And it becomes therefore a consideration if money is non-kosher money. And why is it non-kosher money? Well, Shimon Skop explains because when you're lending money, right, a person needs the money. He needs the money to spend it ostensibly for a good purpose. And the ribbis is going to be going to add up and it's going to cost him. But Hashem's not interested in you doing it for that reason, to make money. If you want to do a chesed for somebody, if the person needs money, you want to do a chesed for him, the way to do the chesed, the kindness, is to do it in the most perfect way possible. And if you're going to be charging an interest charge for their money, that is going to be a lack of perfection in the act of kindness you're doing for the person. You want to do an act of kindness, you do a loan for free, a free loan society, you give them loan for free, and you forego the opportunity of charging the interest. And that's doing the kindness in a way that's perfect. Whereas if you go ahead and charge the usury surcharges, the interest charges, you're doing him a kindness, you're being very kind for lending your money, but nevertheless, it's not a kindness in the full, perfect sense of the word, because you're doing something which you're also getting out of it, something beneficial in a materialistic way, getting the interest charges, and Hashem doesn't want that. There's so much so that the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Chazal tell us that a person who lends with ribbis to fellow Jews, he is not going to be privileged to see it. He's going to lose out on his ability to be resurrected with the rest of the dead, and he's going to lose out on a tremendous benefit of Olam Haba, the next world. So therefore, that's a general revelation in how we're supposed to act in all ways. When you do something for a person, you're supposed to try and do the chesed that you're doing in the most perfect way possible. It takes time to think about how you're supposed to do this chesed in the most perfect way possible. So, okay, Bez Hashem. Tomorrow is Shabbos. It's Erev Shabbos, Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. Bez Hashem will be getting ready for Rosh Hashanah in the coming weeks. Mitzvah Hashem. And everyone should have a very good Erev Shabbos and a good Erev Rosh Chodesh Elul. And I guess we'll see each other on Rosh Chodesh. It'll be Rosh Chodesh Yom Rishon as well. 2 days Rosh Chodesh, Shabbos, and Yom Rishon. Hopefully see everybody in a regular time on Yom Rishon. So everyone have a good Erev Shabbos and a good Erev Rosh Chodesh.
Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. We'll see you both
Good Erev
tomorrow.
Shabbos and good
Have a good
Erev-
Shabbos.
Thank you too. Be well.
Okay, be well.
Take care, Mayor.
So we have Rabbi Levitt now coming up.
Yes, Pele Yoetz. He should be hosting.
Okay, very good. I'll look for him then.
All right. Have a
Okay.
good day, Yechiel.